This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Okayest Hunter, coming at you from the Okayest Hunter podcast. And instead of being Tuesday night, it is Wednesday night. And if you're a little confused about that, that means you don't listen enough because we've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks. This week would be Wednesday. Just got back into town last night from our family vacation. We had a cruise to the Bahamas with the kids, and it was crazy, as you might think, with 3 kids, but a ton of fun to check out of everything for a little bit. And now we're back at it on a Wednesday night, so we might have a different audience tuning in live. I'm not sure. This is not our regular scheduled programming, so we might see some new faces, and the other ones might just be really confused. We'll see what happens. And I'm sitting here with Matt Streim with Weathered Oaks Game Calls. Although I had to just say that right away before I do my ad stuff, because on the camera, you kind of look a little bit like Greg. And I don't know if that's good or bad or not, but we'll get into that in a second. I do want to shout out to Spartan Forge. They are our premier sponsor. They built their studio for us, basically. They were one of the first to really jump on board with us head first, full feet into the full pool of okayestness. And we use their app heavily. Greg, Derek, and I are on Spartan Forge. The maps are crystal clear. You can now look at historical map data from different years prior if the data is there and exists. Trying to think, they just added the UAV feature like a week or so ago. The journal feature is really good. I'm not a big journaler. I'm also not that great of a hunter. But the deer predictability piece of that app is something that is worth talking about as an Okayest hunter, because for me, planning PTO and knowing when to get in the woods in limited time with 3 kids, it's good to know when the odds are in my favor. And their app is the best one out there for that, based on the millions and millions of data points that they've collected to inform their data model and neural networks and all that stuff. So if you want to save 25% off on Spartan Forge, head on over to spartanforge.ai and use code OHP. Of course, we are drinking Drop Tine Spirits in the studio tonight, so cheers to those guys. It's pretty tasty stuff, I think. It'll get you drunk if you drink enough of it. It's like 90 proof, so 92 proof. One glass is probably good. It is smooth for 92 proof. Nice and warm on the way down. So with that, what else is going on around here? Foam Fest is on the horizon. That, if you don't know what that is, you've even heard us talk about that. That's our archery shoot that we're putting on. It's our first one ever, so give us some grace if we F that up and crap the bed. It's going to be at Hubbleton Brewery, which is a brewery in, well, you guessed it, Hubbleton, Wisconsin, which is like Waterloo, I believe. And that'll be August 27th. It's a Saturday, 9 to 9, something like that. The stuff is on our website. You can go to okayesthunter.com, and under the main tab, there's an events page you can go register for. It's $20. We're not going to make you break the bank to join us, but we do want to pay for the beer that we're going to provide and the food and stuff, as well as our targets that we're getting from our good friend at Deer Vein. So with that all said, those are most of the housekeeping announcement-y things I wanted to say. Matt, welcome to the studio, dude.
What's going on?
Just happy that you showed up here. It was a bit of a hike for you.
A little bit, but
it wasn't terrible, but yeah,
longer than going to the grocery store.
Yeah, a little bit. I miss my commute. I just switched jobs not that long ago, as we were talking about, and my commute went from 35 minutes to 8 minutes.
Oh.
So that might sound great, but that was in a loud house. Those 30 minutes were quiet, were nice. Sure. I would listen to podcasts and books, and now it's I have time for a single phone call, and even that's cut short. I'm I gotta go. I'm at work.
I just gotta drive around a little bit.
I probably could do that. My wife would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm just looking for deer, which I do. I take these different winding ways to work because I can, and it's fun to look at there's all these turkeys and deer to see on the way in here and wherever I am, Lake Country. So tell me a little bit about Weathered Oaks Game Calls. You have a box of goodies over there. How did this start? What is it? What's your background? What's going on with all the stuff?
My background, I'm just a hunter, mechanic by trade, and got started because I didn't want to pay $100 for a pot call,
Mhm.
and it looked like something I could make myself, and made up a couple of them that turned out absolutely god awful. And we modified as we were going through everything, and got it, kind of nailed down after the third or fourth call. And other people took advantage, or not took advantage, but took notice that we were making
Yep.
them. And I sold the first 25 before they were even built. They're like, I
Oh,
want
wow.
one, I want one, I want one. And that's kind of how it started.
You got a lot of connections then in the hunting community. People know you.
I know a lot of people that hunt. So.
That's good. So when you say like they're the ones you're looking at were $100, are they really $100? I guess I wouldn't know because the only one I have is from you. So like, tell me about the price points. And so in the store, a pot call is like $100-ish.
It really ranges. You get the plastic pot calls at Menards or not Menards, Fleet Farm or Walmart. You can get them for $15. They range all the way up to like the Woodhaven calls, which are 100. Anywhere between 80 and $120. Kind of go up from there.
So with the quality up goes the price.
Yep, with
for sure.
the handcraft instead of the mass-produced plastic ones, and
Yep.
So
and yours, I mean, as far as I know, sound really good to me. I mean, Greg knows more. He's not here tonight. He's got a thing. It's Wednesday. We switch it up. Derek's family isn't feeling good, so he's got to deal with that. Those guys would probably ask more pointed questions. So I'm going to ask a lot of like dumb questions. But I think I was doing a lot of live TikToks with it for a little bit. And like I posted the live title, which I forgot to do over here. I'll do that. I posted the live title, like, teach me how to turkey call or something like that. And you'd be surprised how many people were like, oh, try larger circles.
Mm-hmm.
No, bring it down. And then they tell me like to put the pressure down and do a straight line for the. And so I was like, not getting it. Finally, like, well, try to turn it this angle a little bit. And meaning like there must have been like 50 people just telling me how to use a pot call. That's on TikTok.
Great part of technology right there.
And you figure in like, oh, I could go to YouTube and get a tutorial. And that's probably a great way too. But the whole TikTok thing was nuts because people were literally real time experienced turkey hunters telling me how. Yes. Yep. And it was positive. They were like, you fucking suck, I mean, maybe in their heads they were, but I was like waiting for the next comment to come through and try this. And then one guy went live with me and was telling me, this, that, and the other thing about it. And then I put in a mouth call and I gagged. So that was awkward. So I think from that perspective alone, I salivate a lot. Like I'm not a big cigar smoker.
Sure.
I'm just not. But the few times I've had cigars, I drool and slobber all over them and I have to spit like a camel every 2 seconds. So getting those diaphragm calls in my mouth is not
they're tricky. They take a lot more practice than something like that because there's a lot more involved. It's not just circles and straight lines. It's cup in your mouth and right amount of air.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. But even those, some people are telling me like try to say, what did they say? It wasn't like to try to get the Yelp. They're saying say a certain word with your mouth as you're doing it,
and that works sometimes. But I say like yep, and then other people will say whelp, or however it goes. It's however your mouth works, I guess. So.
It's kind of cool. I got that tip and I was like, holy shit, just changed the whole thing. And now I can't think of the damn word. So go figure. God, I'm an idiot. Who's in here? Bullets for bucks. Hello. Doug, how you doing? Don't insult the man right in front of the bat. Right off the bat. I'm not sure that saying you look like Greg is an insult. I know. He's a
nice gentleman.
He's a nice guy. So how do you make the calls then? Like you're putting them on like is it a lathe or?
Yep. So I actually have a business partner in it. He does most of the wood lathing part of it. I do all the call finishing and hand tuning and stuff like that. But yeah, we just chalk them up on a lathe. Took us a long time to figure out the profile, the install height, and for the soundboard, and it's a whole physics-y, airflow, air movement, what surfaces.
You're gluing the top part on. And it sits on like some sort of inner shelf, I imagine.
Yep. So there's brought a bear so you could see. So that's where the soundboard would go.
Okay.
And in this top groove, you would have a piece of glass, slate, whatever have you, that would go on top. So these are all very specific dimensions that we've messed around with for quite some time to get the right airflow and size of the soundboard and stuff like that.
And what kind of wood are you using and where are you getting the wood from? Like, I don't want you to tell people how to make these things start, nut to butt, but I'm just.
No. Let people make them. I mean, that's how I started. Somebody, this is actually pretty cool. This is Osage orange. That's the natural color of the wood.
It looks really good. So you're just putting a sealant down there?
Yep.
Like an acrylic or something?
Beeswax or, something, simple like that. Not anything hard to like seal it, but
Okay.
protect it more from UV because it's out in the sun. But yeah, we get most of our wood. We cut it and just let it dry. So we buy some wood that like the exotic kind of stuff would
Sure.
we buy, but we got Osage, we got walnut sitting drying right now, and
And the different woods, does that affect
Big
not the sound? It's like the same.
it affects everything because red oak is a lot more porous than white oak, which you're gonna
Okay.
get 2 different sound profiles, and I go on for ages on different profiles. So it's a lot of putzing around, figuring out good combinations that work.
Mhm.
That's why I gave Greg a couple to try. Those were new prototype-y
Mhm.
calls. So yeah, it's quite finicky. There's probably a science to it. Take some porous number of this wood and you can put it in a calculator, but we do it all by sound of our ear and trial and
It's
error.
either good or it's not.
Exactly.
And how many are you making like in season, so to speak? Like, or
We-
when's the time where you're making the most of them? What does that look like?
We usually start November, start building. We go November to January, February, try to get everything done, some parts and, get
you're-
slate and
Getting your inventory built up in that
Yep.
off-season time.
the first season I started building them in March.
Mhm.
And I didn't hardly turkey hunt because I was fulfilling orders and building calls all through turkey season.
Mhm.
So I want to have everything done. For us, we try to get it done by Christmas.
Wow.
Try to.
How many are you selling per season roughly?
Roughly, we're in that 50 to 100. We're still, local, small, but we've got a lot of big reach now. We got some bigger customers reaching out to us now, which is kind of cool.
And that's mostly all word of mouth.
Yeah, I'm not the best on social media. I post stuff, but yeah, everything's word of mouth, and that's how we've grown in the past few years. So
Frida Prawl was just here last week, and he's using your stuff.
Yep.
Does he have a decal on his truck with your stuff on it?
should have 2. I gave him 2.
Yeah, I think he does. I have some stickers for you on your way out too, by the way, and decal. If you don't already have any of that stuff, I don't know if you do.
I don't know if I do or not either. I don't think so.
Okay, I had some extras, so I was like, oh, I'll give these to Matt when he gets here. So don't let me forget. Well, that's great. So I don't know, and you have more calls that you're getting into by the looks of it. So what else can you talk about that?
Yeah, I started to kind of hint. I have a private group on Facebook that I've showed pictures of and stuff, and we're working out the style and everything. I don't know where the camera's looking at, but yeah, we're starting to do grunt tubes. This will be black. This was just one I could get in stock.
Yeah, where do you source that from? Like, how do you find?
A lot of Google searches.
That's crazy because that's
yeah.
And so one of the questions actually that Huntworks just asked, and I'll put it on the screen here for everyone to see. It'll take a second over here, but he said, "How are you keeping up with all the market with so many call companies nowadays?" And I think we talked about it a little bit. You mentioned like, well, we're not as expensive. People want to shop local. They might not want to go into Walmart to support that business.
Sure.
And you're finding a niche audience in that community there.
I mean, we're not exactly cheap, but you also get handcrafted, one of a kinds. Basically, we do small limited runs of same wood, same stuff like that, but everything's hand turned. COVID kind of helped with that. Everybody kind of got locked down. We had 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off a work schedule, so I was building calls and hand delivering them to everybody, and kind of helped us out. I had 2 weeks that I got to work on calls uninterrupted, and then had to go back to work, the real job, for 2 weeks. So
sure.
We keep it local, great. If you guys have an issue with a call, break slate, drop a rock on it, something's not working right, just give me a call. I got no problem replacing the slate. We stand behind our work. Not saying that other companies don't, but
yeah, at that point when you're small, it's kind of like, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because you get one bad review or something like that, and suddenly it just cripples the whole thing.
Yep.
And you take a lot of pride in it too. You really
Right.
want that high touch with those customers because it matters to you. You care.
Yep.
And you're not so big that you can't handle it yet.
Exactly. And every call gets hand struck by me, because if it doesn't sound good, I got a wall of shame on my back wall in the basement of all the calls that sound like crap, and they're stacked up there, and kind of keeps me honest. Not every call is a home run. You think it's going to work out good, and you strike it, and it sounds like a dead horse.
Really, it does sound like that.
Oh,
Do you have any here that sound like shit?
No, I'm not going to bring those.
I wonder the sound, how different it would be.
Most of the time, it's really echoey.
Okay.
You get the install heights wrong. You get some wood that's cupped, or something the glue didn't set right. But no, every call that leaves, I would use in the woods myself. So.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we are. Like, I want to wear my hats any chance I can. Like, why am I? But I do wear other hats. I got a Go Wild hat over there and stuff. The Thunder Chicken hat, of course, that they sent over. And so, how long have you been turkey hunting?
Not as long as I've been deer hunting. Usually had spring sports and stuff like that. But I got into turkey hunting a late onset, maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, so a little while.
A little while.
What hooked you into it, buddy? You got to try this, or you heard enough about it, or what?
My old neighbor at my parents' house. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I got a turkey tag up north. You want to come?
Okay,
Sure. Let's go check it out. And,
rock on.
yeah, weather's a lot nicer. So,
And the best tip I saw, the 4 minutes I got to watch the hunting public today for my wife. Told me I couldn't watch hunting shows while I was home, which was sad for half a second. Was the Promethean? I say it wrong every time, so someone's gonna have to correct me. The Promethea. I don't know. Basically, it's a nerve agent bug spray that you put on your clothes, not on your skin, and you put it on ahead of time, like
you
couple
let
hours
it
or a day.
let it dry out.
And they recommend your socks, your under layers, your outer layers, and they're like virtually no ticks, by having that on, because when the ticks land on it, I don't know if it kills them or if it's no dice, it deters them. But it's a different methodology. In addition, probably putting in some bug spray too. My big thing would be like this time of year, ticks. And I know when we did morel mushroom hunting last year, we brought our dog because we didn't have 2 yet, and our 2 kids, we didn't have 3 yet. So it was our 2 kids, my wife, and one of our dog. And I think our dog had like 30 ticks on him. And amongst us, we probably had another 30 or something. It was like 60 some odd ticks. And at that point, they're in the car. They're in your house. They're everywhere. And then it's paranoia. And we did. It was like the next whole week. It was like oh, my daughter's like, oh, I have a tick on my neck. And we're like, oh my God, it's freaking us out,
Sure.
And Zach Fehrenbaugh was talking about how he got Lyme disease from, ticks. So this particular time of year, it honestly freaks me out a little bit. So the Promethean, whatever the hell it's called, I think it would be a great thing to consider. So next week I got the leftover tags here in Wisconsin. I think I'm period F.
Correct.
Zone 2, I think.
Same as me.
I still, at this point, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm wearing. I'm probably just going to grab some of my whitetail camo. I got to douse it down with Promethean. I think Greg's going to let me use his shotgun. My dad has one at his house that I could use, but it's not like it's antiquated that bad where I can't use it. It's a very large gun. And I'd have to go get it from him, and I haven't shot it in years or whatever. So, I'm probably just use whatever Greg has. He's closer by. And I don't know where I'm going to go. I think Greg actually might have a spot for me, or Derek. And then I think one of them or both of them might want to like film or help with stuff or calling. And I think maybe you had offered to call or something too. So at this point, I don't really know if it'll go like before work or take a day. I just had a whole week off of work. So like, I gotta
be careful.
Yeah. Hey boss, I'm not going to go today again. So I'll probably try to work around my schedule as best I can. But it'll be my first time. I've never done it, and it's leading into the holiday weekend. So, I don't want to jump into that too much with the kids and the fam because I like that time. So, I don't know what I'm getting into, man. I got all those calls on the table down there that we were talking about. I think the owl call gets me excited because you can do that, and then they gobble somewhere.
Yep.
It's called a shot gobble.
Yep.
Right.
The locator. Yeah.
Locator, and then you confirm they're somewhere, and then at that point you got to set up and figure out where the heck you're gonna go, or like
a lot of stuff goes into it.
Yeah,
but yep.
Talk me through a little bit, because I don't want to do that shot gobble locator while I'm in my spot, do I?
No. Usually shot gobbles you use earlier in the morning, try to figure out where they're roosted, or you could middle of the day walk it through, try to catch one off guard where they actually shot gobble at you. It's called a locator for a reason. You're literally, once you hear it, you located it. Either pull up Spartan Forage app or anything like that, figure out where you're hunting, and kind of get a game plan. They're not going to come into a locator call.
Right. But, they're like, hey, there's is an owl a predatory bird to a turkey then?
Yep.
Do owls go after turkeys?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that might be the case, but I was like, wow, that's a big bird for an owl to try to take down.
Yeah, they take them right off the roost.
And turkeys aren't like totally defenseless.
No, but when they're up in a tree, it's dark out, owls can see at night, but
oh my God, I'd love to get that on camera and see what it looks like.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
If anyone has footage of that, or like if there's some nature show I can go check out, like please
send it in.
That's one I've watched a lot of nature shows. I've never seen that. Okay, so you locate them, try to make your moves. You're looking at. I would be looking at Spartan Forge.
Yep.
And that gives me an idea of like, oh, do I got to walk up a hill, down a hill? But the cool thing about turkeys, from what I understand, is I don't have to care about like wind and scent.
Nope.
But
That's the
and
beautiful part.
noise, I would imagine there you got to be a little sensitive to that. So, like, would a squirrel call help me navigate the woods a little bit, like it would with a deer?
Yes,
Or
I mean you could do a little bit of cutting while you're putting when you're walking through the woods, mouth call or even just with the pot call or something. Just a little bit of noise because turkeys are loud. You probably heard them deer hunting.
oh yeah,
They're super
scratching and
loud.
stuff.
You,
And
you think a herd of deer are coming in? It's 2 turkeys.
it happened to me last season. They were right behind me. I was like, every time I knew it was them, and I kept reevaluating my brain, like, oh, no, it's the damn turkey still. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we've done that too. You don't want to. I mean, you want to be quiet, but if you also are trying to mimic, I'm kind of going more advanced right now, but
That's okay.
like you have one guy set up, one guy walking away calling. You're gonna want to make a little noise so the birds think it's walking away, and it'll walk through, kind of like elk hunting. So
Okay, which I haven't done. Have you done elk hunting?
Yep.
Oh God, you're awesome.
Unsuccessful. It was 90 during the day and 30 at night, and we couldn't get high enough to get on them. So
okay, so I have a crow call too. What's the point of the crow call?
same locator call.
But they're not scared of crows. Like
I think it's just the loud noise. I'm not a scientist when it comes to that.
yeah. I'm just wondering how this all like plays together. I had a guy on the show like when I first started doing the podcast sometime earlier on, like 2011, 12, somewhere there, and I'll never forget it because he talked about using a crow call to call in crows to give him sound cover for deer hunting. And I was like, what the? That's like some sorcery, dude. That's
like some fancy stuff,
right. Like it just would never have occurred to me that. And so I was on a hike with my kids, and my wife, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I brought the crow call with me, of course, because I'm like having so much fun. And I no doubt I called in like a half dozen crows or more. And it was kind of cool. I was like, well, look at this. And I got these crows flying around me. Like, my wife's like, this is weird. What's wrong with you? Like, she's like, what do you think they're saying? I don't know what they're saying. I have no idea. But I thought it was kind of cool. Like that it worked. And I could see how that could give me some sound cover.
Yeah.
Because they're not quiet.
No. I mean, you could walk quietly too.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I mean, like the big thing when I scout a property, most of the time I do scouting. I know the public land I'm going to hunt. I stray away from some of my go-to spots, but some of the stuff I do, I'm more scouting locations and sit. So if I hear a gobbler here, I know I have an area to sit here. If I know they're roosted over there, I got an area to sit over here. I know if they're traveling this midday, I have another spot kind of set up over there.
Okay.
That's my strategy. It's pretty easy to figure out where gobblers are going to roost. Find a big oak tree or some pine trees, a big tree that vertical limbs I come across, horizontal limbs I come across. They're going to roost there if they're there. If they're not there, that's where the locator call comes in. You pull in the parking lot of public land, hit the owl hoo to the crow call, and get one fire off. Yep, they're here today. So then you kind of, if you didn't scout the property beforehand, you're not really sure where you're going to set up.
And that's, depending on where I end up or who goes with me, I fear that that's the issue that I'm going to have, is that I won't have a clue how to approach this. Although I do have familiarity with some properties, but it's all deer hunting.
Sure.
Base, so I just never put it through this other lens.
Sure, but I mean that does help though. You know the layout, you know the terrain, a little bit where you're hunting. And the nice thing about turkey hunting, deer hunting, if you don't have any deer on the property, you go home, try it a day or two. Turkey hunt, you don't have any turkey on the property by 8:00 in the morning, back up, go to another property, glass them from the road, sneak up on them like that. You could property hop. Can't do that with deer, really.
No, yeah, totally. That's interesting. So it could be a little bit more eventful that way.
Yeah, burn a lot more gas, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think Derek said he was driving past a farm consistently over the last week or something for work on his way in and out, and he said he'd been seeing turkeys there enough times where he stopped and knocked on the door and they gave him permission. And he's like, "All right, I got permission for this hunt that I'm doing tomorrow." And that's like, wow. And I think from that perspective too, people are, from what I've heard, especially from like Lee Ellis with Seek One, they talked about, people are much more willing to give you access to their property to turkey hunt it than they are to deer hunt it.
Yep.
It's just and if you get that going, then maybe you can build some rapport to do deer hunting, which is kind of neat. It's interesting.
Yep. I think I wrote about that in the beginner's guide.
Yeah. And you put that article together. That's right. Yep. I think that was a good one.
People don't seem to care as much about turkey. Deer hunting is sacred in the state of Wisconsin and other places too. And turkeys, go
kill it, whatever. I don't care. It's like, is it Thanksgiving yet? And I don't know. I'm just the Promethean is the big one for me. As I'm talking about this, as I'm like thinking about what I'm going to do, because it's a week from today.
Sure.
So, okay, what am I going to do? All this and that. I lent Greg my GoPro, and he got the bird that he got, and he got it on camera with that, which I thought was pretty cool that it worked out that way. Although, when he shot the gun, the recoil, you couldn't see.
Did the GoPro go flying? That's kind of what it looked
like. No, it had, I I don't think it did.
Or did he put his gun down?
I think he put his gun down
Okay.
because I gave him a barrel mount for the GoPro.
Sure.
So
Well,
literally
yeah.
mounted to the barrel, and he's like, I'm gonna buy one of these. So I think he liked the experience, which is cool. I now have a mount for my bow, which I didn't have when I shot a doe last early season, and I just velcroed the GoPro onto my stabilizer, and it just happened to be that when I let loose, like it didn't catch the precise moment of impact that I needed to see. And I was like, damn it, that was like the one thing I needed to see, and I didn't get it. So I'm excited to have that on the bow and the gun as well. But I imagine with the recoil, it's gonna kick.
Yeah.
And then again,
it's kind of like Greg's video.
Yes, you probably want to have another one set up to just capture the whole moment. But
But they gotta be careful. You're pulling 40 calls and 6 cameras and all this stuff on the decoys and everything.
Well, I saw it in the hunting public. They literally like set up a tripod and they had like some camouflage cloth or whatever it is, just covering the tripod. And the camera's like, oh my god, these guys are just so good at what they do.
They've been doing it a couple of years.
They made it look so easy. They just set up, pop, doom. They set the cloth over it. So, Oak Tree Dreams, how's it going? Assuming that's Drew over there. Did you guys? I think you guys have been doing lots of turkey hunting up there in the Boston area, in Wisconsin. So, what other advice is there for beginners that I'm not asking?
Enjoy the hunt. Be patient. I mean, you're gonna hear stuff. I mean, you bow hunt obviously, but you're getting out there 4 o'clock in the morning. Just it's a whole different vibe. It's not cold. It's usually warm. You got fawns running around. It's just everything's greening up instead of everything dying. Enjoy the hunt, man. That's 100 more tips I could give you. It's just you got to take it in, enjoy everything.
Yep, that's good. That is good advice. I'm excited to not deer hunting. I'm the first to say don't take yourself so serious. And like, what's the Joker from the Dark Knight? Why so serious? I think deer hunting it feels more serious than what turkey hunting is going to be. I'm excited to let loose and experience a hunt from a different angle.
Yep.
Where you don't have to be so conscious of scent and all this other stuff.
It's less pressure. And again, if you bump birds out, there's going to be more birds either on that property. You get up and move. It's the beauty of it. And it's you don't have to worry about nocturnal birds, because they roost every night. They only come down during the day. It's just
so they're going to be out if they're out. Yeah.
Yep. They're not going to stay in a tree all day. So
yeah, we just wanted to pick our dogs up from the boarding place. So there's in Dousman. So I'm going down 67 all the way south, and turkeys in the field, fans out. I'm like, they're obviously out doing stuff. So I think Greg got his on a field edge.
Yep.
The turkeys came out in the field. He shot it, from the edge of the field, looking out into the field. And but I see guys like the hunting public. They're in the hardwoods doing this stuff too. And they called in 11 jakes. Apparently, I'm shooting the first freaking bird that comes out. Like I don't think I'm gonna have enough patience. On my when I'm told it's my first time ever, so I'm happy to shoot a jake. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yep.
So and at this point, I think people have been at it for a little bit now, right? Like it opened up in April.
Yep.
So
second to last week of April, I think it was.
The leftover stuff. How long does the season go to here in Wisconsin?
6 periods, A through F. So plus the youth.
Okay, so we're literally the last.
Yep. I had first period, but the whole house got the flu except my daughter. So
it's terrible.
Yeah, that was rough. So I missed almost my whole period, and then went out calling a couple other times and had some great experiences before I got sick. The first day, had a tom in at 3 or 4 steps.
Okay.
Come through the group of hens, but I was my brother-in-law was hunting with a bow, so I was calling for him. And with a bow is a heck of a lot harder.
You got to draw back. There's a lot of motion for a turkey to see.
Yep, exactly. So they literally came through me to you away. We didn't move. They never saw us. They got out, and then the tom was there full strut, and there was a hen behind, so we never had a shot as I walked away. So darn.
Yeah. So it's not always a guarantee like deer hunting.
It would have been if I had the gun, but
yeah, I suppose that's the thing. The hunting public, when I saw they had the gun, right? Like you're just sitting there with it on your knee when they come in, and
minimal movement. Try to have it, left shoulder faced if you're a righty, left shoulder faced where you think they're going to come from.
Okay.
It never works 100% to plan, but you don't want to be swinging. It's a lot of movement, even if it's just that little movement. So.
They'll catch it. And camouflage, what are you doing for camouflage with these things? I hear that's what I was asking. Like, I don't want to wear. So, like, it's not like it's a fashion show, but I hear turkey camouflage.
They can see better. Yep. But again, you can hunt deer with checkered plaid, red and black. So, movement is the biggest thing. You just want to have something that matches what you're hunting in. If you're hunting hardwoods this time of year, darker with a little bit of green in it. We hunt a lot of sage grass, and buckthorn stuff. So I usually just wear tan pant or like tan or brown pants and just a lighter camouflage top. All kind of depends on what kind of, you don't want to wear bright green camo and then go sit in some sagebrush. You're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Okay. Yeah, they pick you off with that.
Mm-hmm.
Similar stuff like, I know getting some sort of like ground blind set up, like some makeshift one would probably be a good way to go if you have the opportunity to do that.
A little bit of front cover, you know.
Yeah.
And again, you can kind of plan where they're going to come from, but when those birds came in on us, they came from right behind us. So
yeah, that's kind of cool because you're not worrying about like, oh no, is my son bowling towards him?
That's beautiful. Yeah,
doesn't even register, huh?
Nope. I think my brother-in-law smoked a cigar. That's their opening morning tradition of turkey
season.
Didn't
even give a shit.
Nope, they didn't care.
That's cool. All going back to not smoking cigars. Might give me a fun task to do, but I'll be spitting a bunch, drooling like a freaking camel out there. Oak Tree Dreams. When they stop gobbling after gobbling, their head of stay. Oh, sorry. When they stop gobbling after gobbling, their head off. I'm having a hard time interpreting the sentence, guys. Stay put, do not move because they will be there shortly. Okay. Yeah, there's been a lot of different tips and tricks and things like that I've seen and heard, even in your article about like, you want to make them want you. So like, don't keep gobbling, like try to draw them in or things of that nature.
Yep.
And it reminds me a lot of like, texting when you start dating, like, well, you don't want to like overwhelm with like text. You want to like wait for her to respond or, or whatever. Like you got to create this scenario.
Don't want to be too pushy or anything like that.
Yeah.
And you're going against nature too. You're trying to call a tom to a hen call.
Mm-hmm.
Usually toms strut and the hens come to the tom. So
you're
trying to defy nature.
You're trying to bring a tom into a hen.
Yep. When the tom is used to having the hens.
It's not like a rutting buck where it's going to come into doestrus as much. Like it's different. Interesting. I didn't consider that. I didn't know that that's how. I mean, I knew that they're presenting, but I would imagine they have some hormones going where they're trying to seek it out a little bit.
Sure. I mean, they're going to follow a hen around, but if you see a lone tom strutting, he's trying to draw attention. Or if there's a group of hens, he's trying to.
Yeah, he's like, you can come to me, lady.
It's almost like most birds. Cardinals, red.
That's true.
The females are darker colored. So they're trying to.
Peacocks, they're trying to put on a show, or they're like eluding, like getting predators to go away or something, whatever it is from the nest. The females tend to be the blend. Really enjoyed the Orioles coming into the feeders. Speaking of bright birds, it's all different thing. I got home today and I was like, oh, there's an Oriole. Look at that. If anyone wants to call in, I'll put the number on the screen here. If you're live on TikTok, I'll share it out loud here, but it's 262-757-4122 if you want to call in, share any turkey hunting stories from the season so far, any success, any okayest moments, or any tips and tricks for me as a newbie trying to get into it, or if you have questions for Matt on the calls that he has. Do you want to bust one out and do a little bit of calling, like
putting me on the spot?
You'll do it better than I would, and I have yours over there. I can grab it if you'd like. I have one ready.
No, I can pull one out here. But
I'm thinking I'd like to hear the different use cases or applications of like the putt versus the Yelp, or I have that. I wonder if I can reach it. Let me see. I'm just gonna walk past the camera here. Oh, there's a gobbler. Grab mine here too. If I can just. Sorry for the awkward noises. If you're in podcast land, it is what it is. So
I will. All things aside, there are better callers than me, and you are kind of putting me on the spot. But yeah,
that's okay. I do see now. You can really feel like Greg now because I do put Greg on the spot all the time. Just have me stuck.
So I look like him, and you're treating me like him.
Yeah, maybe it's just like subconsciously.
So this is actually one of our prototype calls we've been testing for this year. It's a 2-sided, so you can strike on 2 sides.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So this one doesn't. That's awesome.
Nope. Yeah, we made 6 different varieties of it. I can say it now because they are all gone out in hunters' hands. But basically, little tip we might have got from TikTok or whatever. 90, you always want to go about 100. You want to go a little bit past perfect right angle, and I'll probably screw this up, but yeah, just a little past. And
so that's a really small thing. Because I was doing like, and I'm not going to do it right here, but like.
Yep. Just keep stationary. So it's literally like chopsticks. I don't know how to use chopsticks.
Oh, God,
but
yeah,
it kind of looks like that. Just little movements. And you always want to pull towards you. So
okay.
Pull towards you.
I'm going to have to do some more standing here.
You have glass, you got to condition a little bit more. Yep, and then the Yelps are J's or
some sandpaper on this or Scotch pad or something. Just a little rub back and forth there.
Yep, just keep her vertical. And literally every call is going to have a different sweet spot where they call it like a break, where it goes from that high to the low. And it's basically using your call and trying to figure out where that sweet spot is.
Well, that's a lot better than I sounded. I must have gummed this thing up pretty bad.
Yep.
So someone on TikTok said like bigger circles versus smaller circles.
Different, like
just a different cadence or.
Yep.
Tell me some more. You're the expert here.
Not an expert.
Well, in contrast.
So yeah, we got basically just the cluck. Then you got the yelp, which is, and you can go as big to get a deeper tone. The farther to the center, you're going to go the deeper. If you want to stay in the top half. If you want to do a purr, this call isn't the best for purring, but you hold the stick up a little higher, so you get a little more like vibrance down here, and it's.
Oh, interesting.
You just drag it real slow.
Okay. And your call cadence, I've heard that you're trying to match the birds that maybe you're hearing.
Yep.
To pick up their call sequencing and language or whatever you want to call it, lexicon. And I imagine with that, you're not just going to start purring out of nowhere. You maybe start something more like a yelp and then introduce other things as you hear it.
Yep. It depends on the situation. You always want to start quiet too. Okay. Because if they're like right there,
they're gonna be like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Yeah, like someone's screaming in my ear. I'm not going by that. But
Jesus, Susie.
But no, I mean you always start quiet, go louder, and then the cadence. Everybody says that 3 to 5. There could be, again, no expert. I'm not teaching classes on this. I do from my experiences. Mm-hmm. And what we noticed, I had a hen yelp back at me 14, 15 times in a row. That it didn't meet the criteria of how you're supposed to call. And I love when hens yelp back at me. So I like pissing the hens off. Because you piss the hens off, you got a real decoy in front of you, which is the hen. And you got you, and that's more noise, more natural noise, because they hear that one. Mm-hmm. And I did read somewhere that the flock, they kind of know each other's voices.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yep.
They spend all the time together.
Yep. When they hear the outsider, the boss hen or whoever's, they could come in to investigate. And when you bring a hen in, that's the best thing you can do because most time toms are going to follow also. But
yeah, they have the visual confirmation.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's plastic things there, but that one's moving. That's a real hen. So
Yep. Interesting. Well, I've seen enough video footage of toms trying to get on decoys or even lawn ornaments for that matter. But we do have a caller here. We bring him in. I think Drew. I'm not mistaken here. Hey, Drew, you're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you been, man?
Figured to call in. You guys are talking turkey talk, so I figured to call in.
Yeah. What do you got? Any stories to share from your turkey season? No, I got you here. Or any tips for us? For me as a newbie or any of your listeners?
I guess a few things. Well, that comment, I'm sorry, it sounded really bad in the text.
But I'm also an idiot, so it's my fault.
No, it's all right. I didn't word it right. But I guess I'll share one story and a quick tip. One of the tips really that helped me is less calling this time of year and scratching the leaves really works very well when you got a gobbler going.
Okay, so you're pawing the ground a little bit.
You just call a little bit, scratch the leaves, and it. For some reason, if you just scratch the leaves after you get their attention, it draws them right in for some reason, like you're a hen feeding that just doesn't give a crap about the tom.
He gets pissed.
If that makes sense.
Hey, I'm over here trying to present to you and you're not, and I got to come over there.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's a good. And I've seen a lot of posts from you guys over on Oak Tree. So like, how has your season gone? What periods did you guys get?
So our season's gone fantastic, honestly, compared to past years. We hunted first season, second season, third season, fourth season, and then we got takes for fifth and sixth yet too.
Jeez.
So,
Killer.
And I mean, I know Jarrett, one of the guys, he got, Jake first season. It was his very first turkey, and who cares? Shoot the Jake. And the second season, my brother shot our very first public land gobbler, so that was pretty awesome and a clear cut. And that was definitely crazy experience with that one. And then Jarrett shot another gobbler in third season. And the story, I guess, is the one from fourth season, the one I took my son out with this past Friday. And it was kind of cool because, like, the past 3 years with him, like, I've been trying to get a turkey with him, like, so he can experience it, and the full effect. He's heard turkeys gobble. He's been scouting with me all, like, the end of winter, beginning of spring on public land, but we kind of went out, and then, Friday it was just hotter than hot, like, I mean, sweating your balls off kind of thing in a blind. And we no more sat down, and I didn't even scout our private property at all, because you kind of know where they're at after so many years, but our property this year really wasn't as good as what it normally is. Like, it was gobbles here and there, far in between kind of thing. And so we went out on a limb, got in the blind, and no more did we sit down. One gobbles, and my son, like, whips his head around and yells. He goes, "Did you hear that?" I was like, "Dude, you gotta stay quiet, man." Like, yeah, I definitely heard it, because he was roosted only 100 yards behind us. And cool thing is, when we climbed in the blind, we actually busted a hen behind us that was actually on a nest with 12 eggs. So that was pretty cool to see. You don't really, by us, it's hard to find them though, like the nest, hen nest.
Sure.
And so that time, it was like an hour time went by, and the Tom stopped gobbling because, well, he probably found a hen or just didn't want to come down the bluff to us. So I asked him, I was like, do you want to move? He's like, "Yeah, let's go get a gobbler." I was like, "All right, sounds good, bud." So we climbed this bluff, and it's hot, and my son's like, can you turn on the air? I'm like, "Dude, we're outside, man." I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, but we can't. There's no air out here."
Start blowing on
and
him.
yeah, and we get to the top, start calling, and we heard two gobblers like 700, 800 yards away, like just way off in the distance, the other side of the bluff. And when that happens, normally I never call them in that far away, but we started walking around, and I heard a woodpecker go off, and sure as heck, they gobble, and they're closer. They probably got 300 yards closer. I'm like, holy crap. So I told him, I was like, "Dude, we got to set up somewhere." And he goes, "Well, do you think they're going to come in, or maybe we should go somewhere else that's cooler?" I'm like, "Dude, no matter where we go, it's not going to be cooler." He's like, "Well, all right, let's go over here." And I let him pick the tree and everything, or like where we were sitting next to, and it was actually a great spot. It was a little dip in the ground, and start calling, and they got closer and closer, and then they went past us because we were on top of the bluff in a winter wheat field.
Okay.
And they went past us, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. They're going to go where we first called at," because turkeys do that for some damn reason. And so we're sitting there. I'm being, quiet as possible so that the Tom's thinking, either I left or whatever, and they come, searching for me. And it probably was only another 15 minutes, and another woodpecker went off, and they gobbled just on the edge of the bluff. And my son, he whipped his head and looked at me, jaw dropped, like, holy crap. I was like, "Yes, you got it. Now you got to be quiet. Like, this is game on." Like, we only have probably 50 yards in between us, but we can't see him because of the bluff edge. And we sitting there, and my son starts talking louder. He goes, "Do you see it yet?" It's like, no, I don't see it yet, buddy, but they're right there. And no sooner did I say that, I look to my left, 15 yards away. I see his head poke up, and then he goes into strut. And the way the sun was, it was beautiful because it made the tips of their feathers are kind of have like this creamy color, I guess. And with the sun, it made it look gold. And I told him, I was like, "The turkey's right here, man. I'm gonna shoot." He goes, "Okay." Well, I had a bush to my left, so I had to pull the gun all the way back by me, feed it through this little hole in this bush, and I rested on like this branch that kind of formed a V, and shot him at 15 yards and just obliterated his head. And my son goes, "Holy shit!" I look at him, I'm like, "What did you say?" I was like, "Never mind, dude. We got the turkey, man."
Holy shit!
And he goes, "It wasn't even loud." And then he's like, "I can't hear." I was like, "Yeah, I told you to cover your ears, bud." But
how old is your son?
It'll be. He's 6. He just turned 6. Well, actually, not just turned 6, but
that's crazy because my daughter's going to turn 5. So, like, that's just really so young still. They still feel so young, and 6 is young, but that's awesome.
Dude, it's awesome.
Cyril's
I'm
saying holy
like-
shit's pretty
I'm
funny.
just happy I got him involved.
Yeah, it sounds like he's really taken to it.
Oh, he next year, depending, because Wisconsin rules on when kids can hunt and stuff. I might take him out with a 410 to try and get him one during youth season, but it all depends.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Tom DeCray commented. He's one of our followers. I'll take a Jake anytime. He said they're a blast to play with while calling, and they are much more tender than the old jellyhead.
Oh heck yeah, they're definitely easier to play with and keep them entertained longer. Tom kind of just loses interest if the hen's not moving or nothing. If he's not going to get any action, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense. They know what's up.
Way more frustrating.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, you can see him, and they're like, "Nah, sorry, dude." So
Yeah.
any questions for Matt about the calls or anything like that? Maybe you have to get one with your logo on it. You did a good job for ours.
Yeah. Like
the pot calls.
Matt.
So Matt's our guest tonight. He's the owner or one of the owners of Weathered Oaks game calls.
I just got a call from him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
You did.
There you go. It's all
yeah.
coming
He
together.
made a really awesome custom call for me, and dude, I love the call. Like,
You already have one.
That's
This is
crazy.
great.
When you
Were you thinking your whole time like Matt? You're like, hell, man, I just sold you one.
yeah, dude. When you said Matt, it took me a minute to realize what Matt, and then you said a pot call, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I did.
But yeah, no,
I did.
dude,
your
his
one
calls
with
are awesome. Like, I highly recommend you guys getting some of his calls. Like, he does great work. So
That's awesome, man. Thanks. That was a fun do. We did a turkey feather inlay.
Oh,
you can see
rock
a
on.
turkey feather underneath it,
Really?
so.
Yeah, and I guess you can put anything under the glass if it's not going to impact the sound. How did you do the logo, by the way? Like, are you?
My brother's got a laser.
So you
does
just
all
program in or drop in the file and it does the thing?
that. Same with on the back too. So
Yeah, that's cool. It looks good. I think it's awesome. But I'm a sucker for seeing our logo on stuff in real life. So I think most of us are. If you got something,
hit him up for one with our logo on it too.
So you guys were throwing. I got this gobbler call. Is anybody ever doing a gobble call? Is that how you just wiggle the thing?
like a giant squirrel call.
It's called the Thunder Twister.
I mean, I've had them gobble to it, but not when I'm hunting. Usually when I'm driving down the road and I see a strutter in the field, I'll do it. And then they gobble. I tried on my property and they don't even answer. Like, it's weird.
Weird. Man, interesting animals. We were, for a while, like, I think last year more so, we were getting them at our bird feeders all the time. And like, I'm telling you, this Tom was just a tank of a bird. My dogs go nuts, and I didn't have any of this call stuff. So I'm like, oh, sure. Now I have all these calls. We're not showing my feeders now. I would love to just mess around and just see how it goes for fun.
We call those giant Toms trash bags because from a distance they just look like a big black.
They're
blown up
huge.
trash bag.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're honestly, people say turkeys are pretty, sure, but they're freaking ugly. Dude, they got like a big old gizzard. They got this horn on their nose. Like, what is going on? I said they're ugly to Greg, and he got mad at me, I think.
They have their good attributes to them. They're also really clumsy and loud when they try to fly up into a tree.
Oh, yeah. It scared the crap out of my buddy deer hunting. He didn't know that they came out of roost.
Out of you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Assholes. Well, thanks for the call, dude. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, no problem. Sweet. You guys have a great night.
Yeah, you
nice
too,
talking
buddy.
to you.
Yep,
all right.
take care.
Adios.
Bye.
That's funny. So he does have one of your calls.
Yep, he does.
So what other things can you put in there? Like a turkey feather, the logo. Have you had any other oddball things?
No, we get a lot of companies asking for, gifts for Christmas, or I got a couple of Rockstar employees, so we're going to give them a couple of calls before turkey season. A lot of company names.
Mm-hmm.
It's not official yet, but we're working with a ground blind company. They're taking a small order to test the waters for, potentially a bigger purchase. So,
Oh, great.
yep. So we're just, like I said, it's all word of mouth stuff. And
Yep. I'm just trying to think, like, what else could I stuff inside this case here?
I know this year is the first year Bossy Oak did that wild turkey stamp. A lot of guys are putting turkey stamps in there, like the inaugural turkey stamp.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Sure. Interesting. I don't know what else you would put in here. I'm trying to think, like, the turkey feather's a good idea, but
It only really works too with glass or crystal.
sure.
Otherwise, you're not going to see anything. But we do have the ability now to laser slate. So if you have a slate call,
You can laser something on the slate itself.
Yep.
And does that impact if you do a certain area? Maybe
do a certain area. Yep. We did just gave a guy for a charity out by us at the end of the month or beginning of June. Anodized aluminum in one of those Osage pots, the charity logo in the aluminum too. So we got some options.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. If I think of something I want to toss in, I'll let you know. Like I'm thinking, oh, there's some buffalo plaid over there. Like that could be neat.
Yeah, that might work.
But maybe it would dampen the sound.
Yeah, that might dampen the sound a little bit.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Do a little putzing, but
you're like, don't do this to me, Eric. I'm not.
That's a great idea.
Oh yeah, good idea, you freaking idiot. Know nothing about sound dynamics. No. I mean, this is good. I'm excited to see how it's going to go next week. Unfortunately, it'll be the day after the podcast next week, so like I won't be able to report on how it went until 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have a guest on, so it's hard to find time for us to like talk about our own stuff.
Sure.
I should probably get better at like blocking that off, I suppose. But that's a different thing. Any other people want to call in, drop a line, or post in the comments? Happy to take a couple more here. We got a little more time left. But you don't have a website just yet. It's mostly word of mouth. So if someone wanted to buy some of these, like how should they get in touch with you to do that?
So we do sell 2 lines. Our weather resistant one, which is a call that literally you can get soaking wet and strike it, and it sounds exactly the same as it is dry. We sell those, and then the Prowler, Adam from Free to Prowl.
Mm-hmm.
We sell that on his site, Free to Prowl's website.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 lines of calls we sell there, and then Facebook, Instagram, Weathered Oaks game calls. Reach out to us. We do anything custom you want, unless it's buffalo plaid underneath the. But no, we'll do anything custom. Like I said, I try not to scare people away. I'm really responsive. Probably not the best thing at 10 o'clock at night, texting or emailing people back about call orders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we do take a lot of pride in it. We're passionate. We're happy with our product, and we want everybody to be successful with it too.
So they should message you directly or Adam with Free to Prowl.
Adam with Free to Prowl. You could buy on his website. Like there are 2 SKU lines. You could just click buy now. You can buy it. He's got the Prowler call that we did for him this year, and we got my weather resistant call, which was kind of like our namesake, our first call we really nailed down. So he sells those 2 for us, with us, however you want to put it. And then I have some stuff on like my Facebook store, or anything you see in a picture can be duplicated, stuff like that too. So just DM me or message out.
And you're on Instagram. It's as Weathered Oaks.
Yep. Weathered Oaks Game Calls, Instagram and Facebook.
And now TikTok.
Yeah. Not very great start on TikTok, but I'm not that creative.
We were on TikTok for a long time before I actually did anything with it too. We were just posting stuff there and like, this doesn't work. So and then eventually we figured out, we should probably take this serious. And then that's when it changed.
And try. Yep. But I'm not the most, I talked to you before, I'm not the most technologically
person.
We'll
have to make some more content to send it to you. Just be me like drinking bourbon and doing turkey calls by myself in the podcast studio and be like, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this call? Well, more scotch or less scotch? That'll be the question of bourbon.
That's how we build them in the basement. So
there you go. Yeah. And so Johnny Utah does calls too. He does the bourbon barrels, which I think is kind of unique too. And he does the inscriptions with the logos and stuff, but he must be getting his wood from the bourbon calls.
Yep.
Which that's only cool because it's from bourbon, but I imagine it's got the same attributes as any call.
It's most of those are white oak. We offer white oak stuff too. So but
Oak Tree Dreams. Thanks. Black Flag means a lot. Oh, Greg's in here too. How's it going, dude? Those mouth calls sure helped lay the snack down. I think that means smack down on a lot of times for people and us. I should stop reading comments out loud. Anyone listening in podcast lands be like, dude, what are you doing?
This is his first drink.
Words are hard, okay? I was in line at some restaurant in at Disney, and 2 times in a row I said graham crappers. And I was like, oh, can I get a bag of graham crappers? I was like, I'm sorry, a bag of graham crappers? I'm like, shit, I can't say this word right now.
You were auto-correcting that?
Yeah, but I couldn't get it to come out of my mouth right. And I was like, I give up. You know what I'm asking for, lady, And then they didn't give us them. I think maybe she's like, we don't have those here.
We don't know what a damn crapper is.
I was like, what's going on? Yeah, anyway, words are tough. But we'll have to, maybe if you're on TikTok, we can do a go live together or something like that. And maybe you can give me some instruction on this and we can talk about your calls together there too. I mean, obviously we're on TikTok live right now.
Mm-hmm.
Different format if it's just kind of ad hoc or what have you. That'd be a fun thing to do. Just go live with a couple people here and there, like Adam, or he's got a good presence there too. And
Yep. I'm lagging behind and all that, but like I said,
no, but if you're live with someone, it makes it easy. Then you don't got to worry about it. It's just, and you get the cross pollination thing. So here I am giving you tips on a live podcast on how to TikTok. But I think most people that have been commenting here are on that platform too, and
sure,
it's a good community. We have a good following. We got our regulars, the people that call us and comment and listen. So good to know. So like if we were to buy, like 50 of these and have you put our logo on it, that you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there some minimum? Like,
we usually one-offs. We like to not do a lot of one-offs because it's more time. Yeah, I mean, but that was
yeah, different.
Yep. Usually we don't have a minimum order, but we
ideal
would be more than 2 or 5, like
okay,
just to make it worth our while. And then if we want to do more, you got to give me a little more time because sourcing parts nowadays, the glass and some of the stuff.
That's got to be challenging.
Yeah, I ordered my stock order in end of January, beginning of February. I didn't get it until almost April. So, and that's all local. Everything's United
and you can't.
States.
There's just nothing. Everyone's hands are tied.
Yep.
We're trying to get hats and like.
Good luck.
There's no colors available, and we like the hat that sells the most is that one down there, that tan with the white can't eat the horns.
Oh, that one. Yep.
We sold out of them, and now they're on back order, and we can't get them. And so, like, the resource planning part of it and getting stuff is tricky for everything.
Yep.
For everything, there's a freaking baby formula shortage. We're crying out loud.
Yep.
Like, I never would have considered what that could be like. That's a problem. There's all sorts of problems. So getting glass forever for turkey call is kind of like it sucks for us, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, like everyone's feeling some pain right now, I think.
Yep. It's my issue, so we try to, like I was telling you, we try to order stuff way before season.
Yeah.
We had to turn down a bigger order in January for like 300 some calls.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
But I couldn't get parts and he wanted it in like a month.
That's not going to fly.
We hand turn them by hand. So
it would take a while.
Yeah. So we, bigger orders, we want them earlier.
At some point, you might have to buy a couple more lathes.
Yeah.
Or find some more lathes.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be a good problem to have. But, I like we're happy with the slow organic growth. So don't have to decide if I get rid of my real job or not. So.
No, right. And at that point, it's this is still fun. It's like something you get to go do. I mean, that's how this is. This podcast, it's like, well, Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights in this case. It's like, this is the thing. I get to talk to people hunting. I get to drink some bourbon. We get to have a good time. Talk to other people that are listening. I enjoy it.
Yep.
Is it going to replace my day job? Probably not. And not anytime soon.
It would be cool if it did.
Sure.
It'd
take a while.
I'll jump that hurdle if it ever comes.
Yep.
As long as we're staying profitable and people are happy, and I'm happy too. So I like hearing a lot of success stories. So that's
awesome. Well, guys and gals, check those guys out. Weather Oaks Game Calls. Matthew Streim, thanks for hanging out with me in the studio tonight. We'll cut it, and then when you're en route home, I'll get this thing buttoned up and published live. I'll text it to you so you can catch some of the episode if you care to. But I'll tag and everything and all that stuff too. So hopefully you get a little bit of business from it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If not, it was fun talking to you. It was fun writing an article for you. And I don't know. That's like doing it. So
another way to get your word out there.
Nope, pretty cool.
Thanks, everybody. We're gonna end the live stream. Have a great night.